Lena here, your European correspondent. Here I am now in Athens. And I got some tarot cards at the flea market. Little rider waits, all in Greek. Ha! They're so cute. Now, just while I'm shuffling, I've got to tell you about the food. Now, tourist food's all right. Yeah, lots of nice things to eat. You can spend a bit more money, have a gorgeous meal. But last night, because I'm hanging out with locals, I had this meal, and I swear to you, intrepid viewers, I will remember that meal until the day I die. Now, how often can you say that about what you eat? It was just amazing that I don't have the words. And of course, in Greece, lunch takes 4 hours, dinner takes 4 hours, right? Breakfast is quick, probably only now. So there's a lot of serious eating goes on. So here I am in Athens. Now let's talk shame corner. I think there's 2 leading lights for the shame award. And the first is, what's his name? Jason Ravensberg. He's the Attorney General of South Dakota. I'm sure many of you would have followed this story. And he's on the brink of impeachment. So other Republicans are calling for his impeachment. It was a hit and run accident in 2020. He hit a man who came through the windscreen, and he said he didn't know he'd hit anybody or what he'd hit, or, they treat everyone around them as if they were as stupid as they are. And I don't think he's going to get away with it. I hope not. And if anyone gets impeached, we're so overdue for a good impeachment, are we not? That's him. Madison Cawthorn. Oh, look, he's so dreary and dull, but he keeps himself in the headlines by making these statements, right? So last week it was all the orgies he's been invited to. Ha! But now he's been on his 3rd driving offence. He's got a suspended license. He keeps speeding. He keeps getting pulled up. And turns out the car's registered to mum and dad. What is wrong with this picture? Like everything. So if you and I had 3 rapid fire offences, might be a different story. So we don't know if anything's going to come of that. Later, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the French elections and in the UK. But let's lead off with Joe Manchin. There's been protests about him being a coal baron and how he makes $500,000 a year. What does he do? He sells waste coal back to the power plant. And yet, this is a guy that tries to stop infrastructure bills in West Virginia that could help his voters. Well, West Virginia, why do you vote him in? I don't understand. So let's have a look at Joe Manchin. We haven't looked at him for a while. So of course he blocks every initiative for green things because he's an old fossil fool. Let's have a look at Joe Manchin. Now, because I'm stuck here on a dressing table, I'll just have to put the cards down and then hold them up for you. So here we go with Joe. There's a funny, he gets 2 major arcana here out of 5 cards. His first one, this is working at what he does. And now I'm not having ads anymore on YouTube. I can say he's working on what he does best, which is being a selfish bastard. Okay, that's the Australian pronunciation. So he, unlike some of them who don't seem to work at all, He works step by step to secure his finances on a daily basis. But speaking of fossil fuels, Ace of Pentacles, Fool's Gold. It's been easy for him so far to be in a coal state and go, I'm on your side, I'm for coal, I'm getting millions of dollars and you're not, but we both like coal, so isn't that cool? So this has worked in the past. He's had the help of temperance, in the sense you only have to say, I'm for dead coal mines and I'm also pro-abortion, and you know, any turkey could keep getting voted in. So this is in his past. I'm very pleased to report that. He's been able to keep a foot in the water and a foot on land, and in this case, a notional Democrat, and yet he does all that evil GOP stuff. But short-term future is not looking quite so rosy, is it not, with the Ten of Swords? The Hanged Man. Okay, now the thing with the Hanged Man is, after this, I don't think he's hit this yet. I think he's been a bit uncomfortable at times, but nothing serious. After this, he's going to have a rethink, the new perspective, because he is going to have to justify himself. So go the protesters, and I'd like to think they're getting their message out. And just as a sidebar here, green jobs grew 237% in the last 4 years. That's a colossal upswing. Mines now have automated trucks, automated everything. They actually don't employ that many people, and green jobs are coming on stream. So they need someone new and fresh in West Virginia, but they are a very conservative place. So we'll see. Now, the French elections, they're even weirder than American elections. That's a big statement. So what they do is they vote on all the candidates in the first round, and then the top two, I think, go forward, and then they get voted on. It might even be more rounds. But there's been an interesting split. Macron is just in front, I think on 26%. Marine Le Pen, no, I'm not mispronouncing Marie. Her name is Marine, as in Marine Le Pen, who's the daughter of a complete fascist horror. And she's carrying on daddy's work. She got 22 or 23, you know, close. But the left, who everyone had written off, also got 22. And I think she just got in front of the far left candidate. So what usually happens is then the left will fall away and not vote in the next round. So it's all about, can they keep the momentum? So let's have a look. Macron versus Le Pen. Oh God, I hope they turn out to vote, because they could tip the scales. They could. He's very, very centre. You could use him as a white line in the middle of the road. So they could actually push him to the left. They have enough power to do that if they turn out and vote. So I'm looking at the French election here briefly. I think looking at these cards, which start with the devil and people moving, excuse me, to calmer waters. I can't speak today. Must be different languages going on around me or something. The devil here, I think, is Marine Le Pen, but not just her, but everything they represent. They're hard right. You know, send all the immigrants back. Well, the majority of the immigrants are French citizens who come from your ex-colonies, France. And I'm sorry if they're brown, and that's disturbing, but they're actually French people with French passports. They're not just randoms. It's not like the Syrian refugees. Whereas they put them all together in this lump of, oh, here are all these people coming, you know. No. So that's her. I think the people are moving to smoother waters. They're beginning to see through her as the false knight, right? But these things are deep, and they're deep and intergenerational. So it's all about young people turning out to vote. We're seeing this all over the world. It's all hinging on young people. And then I think enough of them might turn out. So either Macron will just get in. I don't think it'll be a landslide or anything like that. He'll either just get in, and he has a boyish way about him. But I think this is young people turning up to vote. So I don't think this terrible woman will get in. Now, before we get to the GOP that I want to have a look at, I've got to fill you in on UK politics a bit. Indulge me, viewers. Now, in the UK, the main guy of the Treasury, excuse me, is called the Chancellor of the Exchequer. You know, it's this medieval title. It's a really big deal. It's the second highest position to the Prime Minister. The Chancellor of the Exchequer actually lives in number 10 Downing Street upstairs. I mean, it's like that, right? Now, the problem is this guy's name, Rishi Sunak. Investigative journalists have been doing a bit of background on this guy. He has a green card. This is a problem because he's actually contravening, he's actually breaking the agreement of the green card, because if you have a green card, you're supposed to pay taxes, always comes back to the taxes, in the US for all your global earnings. And you were supposed to have a permanent residence in the US. So he's broken that. He's also broken his own UK laws, which say you can't have a green card and do this job. No, you have to be a Brit. So both ways, he screwed up royally, really badly. And his wife, meanwhile, he's putting up taxes for everyone else, and they're finding out, of course, he hasn't been paying taxes. You know, well, he's probably pays this much on his huge earnings, and his wife earns even more. So she gets revenue from one of her father's companies. He's in software in India, and she gets £500,000 just for this one company. Now that's $1 billion to you and me, right? And she keeps forgetting to pay tax. You know, oh, I'm busy. You know, I've got to, you know, get my hair done, and I forgot to pay tax again and again and again. You know, I mean, it's the same. We're seeing this globally. I'm only telling you the story because I think it's important, particularly for American viewers, to realize the dynamics are global. So it's how different countries are dealing with this. It's all about the uber rich not paying tax. I'm not saying tax them any more than anyone else, but just make them pay. Why should I pay more tax than Elon Musk? You tell me. Write in the comments. Speaking of tax, I'm obsessed at the moment. I spent the whole morning doing my US tax compliance thing, so I share your pain, okay, as April 15 comes. Now, in Australia, our tax year starts on the 30th of June, and you have 6 months till the end of October to submit your tax with no penalty. There's a 6-month thing every year. I didn't realize it has to be the 15th of April. So I spent the whole morning, which was very interesting, in Greek, trying to fill out these forms. So I've done something. I'm going to do it by mail, and then I can always say to them, it's in the post. What else can you do? Now, more and more of these GOP, sort of middle of the road GOP, are beginning to get a bit hostile to their own. Like I said, it's other Republicans who are calling for the impeachment of that Attorney General I was talking about. They're starting to pull up their own in some ways. So I want to have a generic look at the GOP, and next time I'll do a much more detailed spread on the Dems. GOP. Are they beginning to see the light, any of them? Of course, everyone's watching very closely the nominees that Trump supports. He pulled his support from Mo Brooks. Why would you give it to such a lecherous, awful cretin in the first place? But it takes one to know one. And he pulled the plug on him. But we do have to watch his nominees. So let's have a look at the GOP. They must be getting nervous. Let's have a look. Things are in the balance. I always get this card. Look, I think they're going to go, let me do, sorry, shut up, Lena, do it in order. Okay, things are in the balance. They're on the ship, and the ship has rocky waters. Any of them that actually have a working neuron in the brain know that the January 6th stuff is going to come down the pike, right? And it's not going to be good. And they're juggling, how long can they milk Trumpism before they have to distance themselves from the Yeti? I think that's what the primary juggle is about. The card of nostalgia, you know, the 50s were great. Yeah, right. You know, for the percentage of people who are white and middle class. But it's living life in the rearview mirror is what they're doing still. But here they get their tens. It's coming to the end of a cycle. It's coming to the end, I think, of the Trump gravy train for them. They get the 10 of wands, the burden. They get the 10 of swords, which is a very difficult card, let's face it. Okay, and I think this represents all the things that are coming at them. January 6th, the fact that even though Biden's down in the polls, the job numbers are up, all these things. The Green Revolution is waiting for the venture capitalists who have the vision to actually back green things, and they're getting left behind. I think they get that young people are not really playing the game. They're not just, they have access to all sorts of other media. So even if you're in the backwoods of the Appalachians, you still have access to more information than you did prior to the internet. So they sense they're in trouble. They're looking for a new leader. I think this is conversations behind the scenes. I don't think the Yeti will be there by the end of this year, although he may still be limping on. But he certainly will not be there. Feel rest assured he will not be there for 2024. So they've got to find a new leader who's going to pull them out of this. Oh, God, I hope they pick a dud. Oh, no. Now, before I go, dear intrepid viewers, let me just show you something if I can. I'm going to try and show you the Acropolis from my balcony, which is not as easy as it sounds. So in typical Tarot Down Under high-tech fashion, We're physically moving. You'll now hear the noise when I open the triple glazing. I'm going to hold the computer up and hope you can see it. Okay, here we go. Can you see it? Can you see it? You might have just got a red wall. Sorry about that. Okay, guys. I love you. And I'll be back soon. I'll probably do another one here from Athens before I go to Spain, meeting up with Dave from Moonride and other people. So you stay cool, stay well, stay strong, and don't let the madness seep into your life. Really don't. Don't let it. Okay, love you guys.